Good afternoon. This is the video and update for Buy Sell Short for Thursday, February 28th. What can we say? We had a surprising up move over the last couple of days, especially today, despite the fact that we have the 85 billion in sequester cuts hitting tonight. Since that sell-off that started on Monday, 200-point sell-off on the heels of some Italy nonsense. We're up 400 points at the highs today. We also had news about the Fed pulling back, and all those issues sort of went to the sidelines. Italy was able to successfully do a bond offering. Bernanke came out and said, "Now, wait a minute, we're still going to continue to buy bonds," and the market just kept going higher and higher. And we had the consensus out there that sequester is really a drop in the bucket. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference. It's a tiny amount of money. Whatever, off to the races we go. And over the last couple of days, we've had this pretty remarkable run in the market. Then we came to the last 30 minutes of today, and for some reason, news that the Senate was unable to come to a deal sent the market down sharply, especially into the close. You can see this little red line here, the splat into the close. We went from up 70 points to down 20 finally on the close. But, if we step back and look at the charts, this trading channel that has been in place over the last month, on Monday we broke down below it, and over the last day we broke out above it. So a pushback into the channel is not that surprising, just looking at the chart. If we look at the daily chart, you can see, this breakdown below, 300 points back all the way up to the top, and possibly a retrace back below it upcoming over the next couple of days. The charts still look pretty okay, and the consensus you're hearing out there, if you read the business media, is that we had a really shallow retrace and buyers were out in force after the retrace. And you recall there was an article, I believe it might be on the website, if you look under articles posted about a month or so ago regarding the stage of the bull rally that we're in, and that a lot of people had missed the rally and would be looking to buy any and all dips that happen. And typically when you're in that kind of market, the extent of the sell-offs typically are about 5%. We didn't even get 5%, and they were rushing in to buy. Now, over the next couple of days is probably going to be the big test. If we do push back down again to this lower channel range, will it hold? Or will we see a breakdown to the 50-day moving average or below? That is the million-dollar question right now. All I will say is that the majority of small caps and most of the micro caps are deader than dead right now. And as I mentioned in the video on Tuesday, what we have seen happen is earlier in the rally over the last several weeks that if a stock dipped, you could almost be certain that if there was no news out there, it would rebound back. That's not the case right now. That may change in the course of a few days, but it's a very confusing market right now. We're trying to decide what's going to happen, or the market is, and there's a lot of confusion out there, a lot of skepticism, and therefore a lot of hand sitting, a lot of money on the sidelines, and the money that is deployed scalps quickly and takes small gains and again moves to the sidelines. So, do you chase, do you not chase, is the quandary we face right now. As for stock plays, let's go over some charts, then we can go over the market a little bit more. ONTY, classic dip and rip. They dipped it down to 180, and then boom, back up we go, baby. Yesterday, big move up to 215 intraday, dipped back down, held the 2 level, and then a nice little bounce back on this one today. 213 break, the 50-day moving average is going to be very, very interesting if we see that break tomorrow. RSI is about to break 50. Stochastics has already broken 50, and that 213 break could quickly see a move up to the 235 area. And right now we've got what appears to be rock solid support now at the 8-day moving average at 195. So if you're trailing your stops on this position, that is a good spot for now. MCZ, new trading alert today. Scenario here being what we saw on DVOX. Let's look at the chart of DVOX. They reported EPS a couple of weeks or last week, Stock initially dipped on it and then rebounded, 50% plus over the next week or so. And MCZ, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, reporting 5 cents EPS per share, and the stock sold off because, I don't know, it's been a constant disappointment. You had a lot of long-term holders just throw in the towel and say enough is enough. Their earnings are... Sales were down, but that's because they are selling less of unprofitable lines and focusing on profitable lines. Therefore, they post a profit. You know, increasing sales is not always a good thing if you're making something for $1 and selling it for 90 cents. You know, it's better to make something for 90 cents and sell it for $1 and make some profits. As for the chart, nice little bounce play. We're about to get a positive MACD cross here. Stochastics cross up through 20. Rock solid support at 40 cents. If there is a pullback on this one tomorrow, I found a little bit of resistance at the 20-day exponential. Again, one reason why I love that as a bounce target and why we mention it as a first target in the email and in the chat room. 42 cents and under is where I'd be looking to pick up shares. 42, 43 cents or under with a 40-cent stop. But a nice little chart set up on this one. PEIX, the biofuels, got a nice little bid onto today. Some nice little spikes on this one. This one I'd be watching to see if we have some follow through on those stocks tomorrow for a possible buy on a breakthrough. The 200-day moving average at 40 cents. Stochastics are nicely oversold right now, so would definitely be watching that one for a near-term break. We've had a couple of nice little trades in that one over the last 2 days, so we'll be looking to see if we get some follow-through on it tomorrow. Centrolium, nice pullback. Well, not nice, but a pullback that has nicely held up at the 50-day moving average. Their fuel, the chicken oil fuel that gave us that nice big run a month or so ago, is being used in the Mazda cars this weekend at the Grand Am Rolex. Biofuels also very hot today. This one back down to the uptrend line, started to bounce. It's actually lagging the bounce seen in the other stocks. RSI is trying to break 50. Again, we had that bounce off the 50-day moving average. Stochastics in the basement. 47.5 cents would be a nice little break on this one. And as you can see, it typically pops, retraces to the trend line, pops higher, retraces to the trend line. So that 200-day moving average up there, 55 to 61 cent area would be the target on a continuation move on this one, with stops at 43 cents is what we'd be looking for here. Quick mention on some disappointments. RNN, microcaps have absolutely been dead right now. Stops on this one, 30 cents. I mean, it sucks to even consider stopping out of a stock down here that's pretty much traded the entire 2013 in this range. But it's one of those stocks, at least reduce a half position if it does get down there, if you're inclined to hold on to it and waiting for the pop if it does come back into the microcap stocks. But very, very frustrating right now. And as I mentioned before, my goal has been, just until we see what this market really wants to do, is to try and sit at 90 to 95% cash. And, if we need to chase some of these stocks a little bit higher, so be it. I'd rather be a little bit cautious right now than giving up a lot of the gains that we've made over the last 2 months. So, again, this is one of those stocks, it'll probably end up rebounding nicely. Now, what would get me to add to my position or increase position in this one would be a volume spike, sort of like what we've seen back at the end of January. So we still haven't seen that big volume spike, at least over the last couple of weeks. So that would be my indication to jump into this stock. ALVR, another one that got hammered with the market over the last couple of days. As I mentioned before, what kind of sucked here is we got that news so quickly on the breakout, and traders were kind of disappointed. Oh, you didn't buy us out, and the stock dipped back down. But it found support today at the 50-day moving average at 45 cents. Would really like to see this one push back up above 50 to get a warm fuzzy or a buyout news. Remember, there's a lot of earnings reports coming out over the next few days. These guys report earnings next week, as do some other biotech stocks, or other stocks. So it is a little bit oversold on the near term, and we could see a bounce back into earnings next week. So, right now we got a lot of people sitting on the sidelines. This big rally we saw over the last couple of days, a lot of stocks did not participate in it, and it was on much lower volume than you would expect on a bounce back. It's going to be very interesting to see how the market holds up tomorrow. If we see the market shake off this late day sell off we had and continue to power higher, next week could see some nice little trades come to pass. Or we could see another test of the bottom end of the range. So kind of sitting back, we're trying not to play a whole lot of plays right now. I want to stay as high cash as possible till we get a better feel on this market. And, that's pretty much just how we're going to play it going into the weekend. If you've got any questions on any positions you're in, doesn't matter if we're playing them, just shoot me an email, hit me up in the chat room, ask me a question. Feel free to ask anything. And I'll see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.